Let's get things started. Ready? Go!
Hello and welcome to Bounding into Comics. My name is John Trent. I'm the founder and editor-in-chief at Bounding into Comics. Today I got a story about Sarah Silverman claiming that the Harry Potter goblins are, quote, hook-nosed propaganda Jews. Silverman's comments come after she saw Jon Stewart claim the goblins of Gringotts Wizarding Bank are anti-Semitic and implied that J.K. Rowling is as well. So if you recall, back in December, Stewart claimed on his show, The Problem with Jon Stewart, that the goblins of Harry Potter are Jews, and then he went on to accuse Rowling of being an anti-Semite. Stewart said, "Can I tell you something about Harry Potter? Here's how you know, and this is a whole thing, and you don't have to use this, but this is true. Here's how you know, like, Jews are still where they are. Talking to people, what I say is, have you ever seen a Harry Potter movie?" And people are all like, "I love the Harry Potter movies." And I'm like, "You ever see the scenes in Gringotts Bank?" They're like, "I love the scenes in Gringotts Bank." "Do you know what those folks that run the bank are?" And they're like, "What?" He went on to say, "Let me show you this. It's from the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. I just want to show a caricature." And they're like, "Oh, look at that. That's from Harry Potter." And you're like, "No. That's a caricature of a Jew from an anti-Semitic piece of literature." Stewart then specifically went after Rowling for using goblins to run a bank. He said, J.K. Rowling was like, "Can we get these guys to run our bank?" And you're like, it's a wizarding world. It's a world where it's like the train station has a half thing and no one can see it. And we can ride dragons and you've got to pet out. Who should run the bank? Jews. Yeah, they look like Jews, but what if the teeth were sharper? And you're like, oh, okay. That was one of those things where you expect, it reminded me of those horror movies where everybody's been taken over by the thing, but you haven't. So you're looking around, every time someone sees you, they go, ah. It was one of those things where I saw it on the screen and I was expecting the crowd to be like, holy shit. She did not, in a wizarding world, just throw Jews in there to run the effing underground bank. And everybody was like, wizards. It was so weird. Even Dobby was like, that's effed up. Those are Jews. Dobby's like, Dobby doesn't have anything against Jews. Dobby doesn't understand. Finally, Stewart concluded by suggesting a new title for the series, Harry Potter and the Reichstag Fire. The podcast host would eventually walk back his comments, claiming there is no reasonable person that could have watched it and not seen it as a lighthearted conversation amongst colleagues and chums having a larf. Enjoying ourselves about Harry Potter and my experience watching it for the first time in a theater as a Jewish guy, and how some tropes are so embedded in society that they're basically invisible even in a considered process like movie making. He went on to declare, so let me just say this super clearly as I can. Hello, my name is Jon Stewart. I do not think J.K. Rowling is anti-Semitic. I did not accuse her of being anti-Semitic. I do not think that the Harry Potter movies are anti-Semitic. I really love the Harry Potter movies, probably too much for a gentleman of my considerable age. So I would just like to say that none of that is true, and not a reasonable person could not have looked at that conversation and not found it lighthearted. As for Silverman, she would accuse the goblins of being Jews on the Sarah Silverman podcast on January 6th. She began the segment stating, "I've never seen Harry Potter, I just missed it. I was old when it came out already." She went on to share the clip of Stewart accusing the films and Rowling of being anti-Semitic. From there, she then commented on a scene from the first Harry Potter film when Harry and Hagrid enter Gringotts Wizarding Bank. She says they're walking into the bank. Now they're in the bank. And oh my god, just a row of hook-nosed propaganda Jews built for real life. Everything you've seen in Nazi propaganda of the Juden pictures are brought to life in this wizarding world. She went on to say, it's the 20th anniversary and this is just coming up. Nobody effing cares. The hashtag Jews don't count. Please read it. She concluded saying, I mean, Morona Ami, it's so horrifyingly blatant. It's like that thing where you just giggle, but it's mostly nervousness or fear, you know? When you just go, oh my god, holy effing shit. Interestingly enough, multiple Jewish organizations rebuked Stewart's assertion, more than likely precipitating his massive walkback wherein he lied about what he actually said. The Campaign Against Anti-Semitism tweeted a statement that reads, the portrayal of the goblins in the Harry Potter series is of a piece with their portrayal in literature as a whole. It is the product of centuries of associations of Jews with grotesque and malevolent creatures in folklore, as well as money and finance. The mythological associations have become so ingrained in the Western mind that their provenance no longer registers with creators or consumers. Those who continue to use such representations are often not thinking of Jews at all, but simply of how readers or viewers will imagine goblins to look, which is a testament more to centuries of Christendom's anti-Semitism than it is to malice by contemporary artists. So it is with J.K. Rowling, who has proven herself over recent years to be a tireless defender of the Jewish community in its fight against anti-Semitism, for which we are immensely grateful. Dave Rich, the director of policy at the Community Security Trust, whose organization's mission is to promote good relations between British Jews and the rest of British society by working towards the elimination of racism and anti-Semitism in particular, told the Daily Mail, J.K. Rowling has been very supportive of the Jewish community in recent years and tweeted repeatedly against anti-Semitism, so it's hard to imagine that she used anti-Semitic characters in her books. Sometimes a goblin is just a goblin. I have to agree there. Sometimes a goblin is just a goblin, and Jon Stewart and Sarah Silverman believing that it is something other than a goblin speaks more to where their frame of mind is than anything that J.K. Rowling was doing with Harry Potter and the Goblins of Gringotts Wizarding Bank. In fact, most goblins are usually portrayed in fantasy as evil creatures that have amassed an army or are trying to destroy things. Instead, in Harry Potter, you actually see them running a bank, and they're actually upstanding citizens of the wizarding world. In fact, Hagrid even mentions in the clip that Sarah Silverman plays that it is the most secure place other than Hogwarts. So clearly the goblins are well respected, and the movies make a point of that as well. Those are my thoughts on the matter. My name is John Trent, and you've been watching Bounding into Comics.